Hey guys, this is Dr. Paul Martin with Brain Life Chiropractic. I thought today I would tell a little bit of a story from my past and how it relates to chiropractic care and how the body really can heal itself. I've mentioned before how diseases are basically a constellation of symptoms created from some underlying tension, stresses, experiences that we didn't fully integrate. An experience from my past that falls into that is asthma. I don't know how many people out there are suffering from asthma, but it really impacted my life for a long time. Asthma is an inflammatory disease for the most part. And I was diagnosed with asthma at about 5 years old. My parents saw me running around outside, had my chest up to here because I just kept trying to take in air even while I was running around. And they took me into the doctor, and I was diagnosed with asthma and given a relief inhaler, albuterol. And, it worked for the most part to control my asthma symptoms. I used it, I got to the point I was using it at least a half dozen times a day. Before soccer, after soccer, in the middle of soccer. I played a lot of soccer. And then later on working out, doing martial arts, I would use my inhaler just as a matter of course, as like a preventative sort of thing. But the asthma medication is basically a stimulant, and I was taking a stimulant constantly, and lo and behold, I had trouble sleeping my entire life as a kid. I just couldn't fall asleep at night. That's because I was using this inhaler all the time. But that's how a stimulant works. Is a stimulant like adrenaline or albuterol, Ventolin. Forces the bronchial tubes in the lungs to dilate, which allows you to take in more air and eases the spasm that occurs in the chest. So it certainly worked to control my symptoms for a long time. When I got into high school, and even toward the end of high school, it started to become more of a problem. So I was put on 2 more medications. One was a long-term bronchodilator, which I took twice a day, and one was an anti-inflammatory steroid, because, hey, it's an inflammatory disease, right? I should take an anti-inflammatory steroid. So I always joked that I was on steroids. And I was still using my relief inhaler at least a couple times a day, if not 5 or 6 times a day still. Under control. It really wasn't under control. And I did this all the way through college, and my asthma actually got pretty bad through college. But I just kept plugging away and hoping that it would get better, and made sure I took my drugs. So when I graduated, my insurance started to run out, and medications are expensive, and I realized I wasn't going to be able to afford my meds. So I started weaning myself off of the meds, and I found, to my surprise, that I could do that I was doing okay, that despite working out and training for my black belt, I was feeling pretty good. I still use my relief inhaler about as often. But that was the cheap one, so that one I was going to pay for. And then a funny thing happened. My first breakthrough with asthma occurred when I started meditating. Now, meditation, at least the kind that I practiced and still do, is basically just sitting. It's called Zen Meditation, and it involves sitting and watching your breath. And I found that I couldn't watch my breath. I found that my asthma would scare me. That watching my breathing, I had never just watched my breathing. I had controlled it my whole life. I was very afraid of not being able to take that next breath because I was dealing with asthma the whole time. After several months of meditating, I discovered that I finally could allow my breath to occur without controlling it, and it wasn't triggering an asthma attack. So I had a lot of anxiety about asthma. I worked with that through my exercising too. Got to the point where I was sharing an apartment with my brother, and I took out my inhaler. I said, "Here's my inhaler. I'm setting it on the coffee table right here. If I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to go around the block. If I'm not back in 25 minutes, come find me." And sure enough, I was fine. I did have an episode while I was running, but through the meditation practice, I was able to work my way through it, calm myself down, and it went away. It was a breakthrough for me. That the asthma was controllable and not simply through meds. When I went to chiropractic school now, next step in the journey, they told me, I learned, gosh, your nerves that come out of your thoracic spine, which is the mid-back, and along the ribs, control how the ribs work, and also control how the lungs work. And so I had an intern who decided, we're gonna take care of your asthma, and we're gonna do it through adjusting. And I was, sure, let's do it, please. It's been a long-term problem. And sure enough, through adjustments, I found that my asthma could get even more under control. And the more that I got adjusted, the better it was. And even to the point where if I had an attack and someone adjusted me, it would calm it down. It would help calm it down. So still taking my relief inhaler, but not quite as often. The adjusting helped, for sure. And then my breakthrough adjustment occurred from Dr. Eric Rubin at North Point Chiropractic in San Francisco. And he worked with me by myself for, I think it was 45 minutes or an hour, through the BGI framework, which is what I now use to do my own adjustments, my own brand of chiropractic. BGI stands for Biogeometric Integration, and I'll put links to Dr. Eric Rubin in San Francisco as well as BGI when I post this. And got to the heart of some of the more emotional issues that were causing this. And even after that, I still had a few problems, but for the most part, really well controlled. And then the next step happened. The final change that managed to take care of asthma for me completely, you can see this is multimodal, it's all over the place, was shifting to a primal lifestyle. It's inflammation, guys. Inflammation was driving asthma, and it drove a lot of my other problems. When I switched to a primal diet, it eliminated almost all of my inflammation, and my asthma completely went away. Completely went away. The only time it comes back now is if I cheat. The other day I had not the other day, this was last summer, I had a personal pizza, which is wheat and cheese, which is very not primal. If you want to know more about primal, let me know. And sure enough, I felt that familiar tightening, like I couldn't quite take a deep breath. So I just I used all the tools that I had. I got it myself adjusted. I kept the inflammation low. I got back on my diet, and sure enough, it just went away. So, is asthma a problem for you? Let's get it under control, because there's totally a way. Are you tired of being on all the drugs, all the meds? You don't have to be. I am living proof of that. I have not used an inhaler in 7 years. And I encourage you to get off the drugs, because the steroids will make you more prone to infection. Taking a stimulant all the time isn't good for you, and there are better ways to do it. So, this is Dr. Paul Martin saying, you deserve a brilliant life. Let it shine.